Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talking Trim. I'm John Skinner and today we are looking at the retrim kits that we can offer for the Jaguar E-Type Series 3 centre console moulded units, as well as the radio fascia and the central dash instrument switch panel. So it's a mixture of kits which I'll sort of go through all together, but then note that they are kind of sold separately, these elements here, and there's a mixture of sort of original specifications and completely bespoke kits. To kind of clarify what we're talking about, let's look in a book first. So on the Series 3 models, as I'm sure you're all aware, it had this moulded black plastic panel in between the seats for the most part there, and it was always black. The cubby box armrest in between the two seats, that was always the same trim colour as the main seats. The top part was leather, then the surrounds, etc. underneath were vinyl, and it had obviously the panel boards here, so that's kind of all these pieces here. That's the cover itself, and these are the panels underneath that go in there, and then that's the material that wraps around the base part here. It's worth noting this kit is actually unique in itself because it's a full leather kit. We haven't done it to OEM specifications. We've done a full leather trim kit for this customer here, so this is all leather, so just FYI. But yeah, so the rest of the centre console was always black, including the dome there, gear lever gaiter as well, but that was normally sort of leather. And then the front of the cars on all E-types was always black, so you've got the glove box, the centrepiece, and the speedo dials area of the dash fascia. In this video we're only going to be talking about the central piece here because that's all we've retrimmed here, and then you've got the bit just below where the radio sits in, which has this moulded unit around it. We're also talking about that, but that was always originally black on these cars, and what we've got here is a kit that the customer has sent us, and we've retrimmed it to his leather colour. The leather we've used is what we call sand. It's the grained leather, and he sent us his original pieces and we've fully trimmed them up basically. He wanted everything doing. Now we do retrim kits for these, obviously you can send them to us if you want, so you can basically get a piece of skived leather for retrimming this central instrument dial panel in the middle there. Actually goes that way, doesn't it, like that. And then we've again got a piece of skived leather for retrimming this section here. That is a tricky one to do. You'll definitely need some steam or heat to get a good result on that. We've covered over the radio. We're not entirely sure what the customer's doing with the radio, so we always like to leave it flexible, so we've done that. And then this piece here is obviously where the speaker grills are on the side, and we've cut out the speaker grills, but again we do a retrim kit, so material, skived leather or vinyl if you wanted, for recovering those. That obviously mounts onto that there, then that sits on top here. Now the gear lever gaiter is a gear lever gaiter. These are standardly supplied in our kits anyway. We've done two versions. We weren't sure we were not sure whether we wanted black or sand, so we've just done two. Easy enough. This is his original one that came out. You can see the plastic finisher that goes over the top of it, and then the chrome finisher on top. And then obviously you've got the main part here, which is the cool part, I think, and actually if you see the description below, there'll be a link in there to another version of this kit, which is actually from my Series 3 Roadster. Now it's worth noting these black moulded panels here, which you can see the bases of underneath there, they did differ. They differ between auto and manual gearboxes. This is obviously a manual, and then they also differed between whether the car was fitted with air conditioning or not. This one does not have air conditioning, and it actually makes the unit longer, quite significantly actually, whereas my car, the other video you can see, does have air conditioning, not that it works, so it changes this console here. Then the autos are completely different, so you've got 4 different versions of these molded plastic things here, and what we've got is obviously different patterns accordingly. So what we effectively do is offer a kit where it's a mixture of materials to retrim at your end. So for the side panels here, as you can see, this dome surrounds here, and then we offer a part trimmed one of these, which is a hardboard panel trimmed all the way around apart from on the front edges, and piped as well. And there's different elements of piping. You'll see the different angles of the piping. It's flat on the kind of surround elements going around the outside, but in the middle it pops up. That's all done intentionally, so it sits in there really neatly like that in there. Obviously the ashtray goes in there, and then this is the bit at the back where the box sits on top. The brake there is as original as it were. This is actually an original piece. The brake's there for obviously getting the handbrake in to sit in, and it goes down there. Then on top of there is obviously the box. That's the material that covers the surround of the box. This is the armrest in the middle. These are the panels that go inside the armrest and on the underside. You'll notice we've got a perforation there. Some of the cars you actually need to take that perforation out to get the hinge to work. Others you do not, so we again leave it nice and flexible, and then you've got the bit there for the catch. And then these are examples here of the foams that often come out of these armrests, and we supply brand new cut rigid foam ones like this, which is a mixture of really dense foam on the bottom and then soft one on top. We do the two different versions. This is obviously the shorter Series 3 versions, whereas this is the more commonly seen Series 1 and Series 2 fixed head and roadster versions here. That's obviously an original one. Now, we're forever sort of telling people that they really need to replace these here, because sometimes you get sort of droopy corners on them and people are like, oh, the cover's too big or it's a bit too baggy. It's like, well, no, you need to replace the foam underneath. There's no point putting a brand new foam on top of that. Even if you pad that out, it's lost all of its density and rigidity. So these are two kind of examples there of ones that have come out of original cars. That's actually out of my car. This is out of the, like I say, Series 1 and 2 that we keep here for this sort of example here. So it's really worth, I mean, they're really cheap in the grand scheme of things, really worth getting these here, because it really fills out those covers nice and means that you don't get these sagging corners. So all these little things help. But yeah, that's kind of the kit there. So like I say, we do sell them in separate pieces. You effectively get the OEM spec center console kit, which is effectively this armrest cover here, these panels, this surround here, and a singular gear lever gaiter. That's the normal center console kit as an OEM spec. Obviously this is a full leather kit, so it is slightly different. But that's our normal kind of standard kit for cars that kind of look like that and left the factory exactly like that. That is included in the trim kit as well, whereas we then do an optional extra kit to recover these center consoles. That's another kit, and then retrim kits for these separate pieces here. So see our website, everything's kind of itemized on those, because people really do like to mix it up and choose what they want to do. For example, this customer here on this dash fascia, he wanted the center part retrimming, but he doesn't want the left and right glove box and speedo dials redoing. So again, hence why we try and tailor kits where it's individual parts, like you just want that one or you want all three of them, etc. So I hope that gives a bit of clarity to it all. Sorry, it is a bit of a confusing one because there's so many bespoke options to it, but pretty cool kit. They look lovely when they're in a car as well. I've always thought that the Series 3s with these black consoles looked a bit cheap. I thought it was always a shame that they used this sort of black plastic. On the 3.8s, obviously they used an aluminium one, but the aluminium looks pretty cool in my opinion, whereas the black plastic does look a bit cheap, I think. So we designed these kits specifically for my car, so I wanted it all in red in my car. But yeah, they are, I wouldn't say selling like hotcakes, but they're popular. So yeah, worth checking out our website. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you like that one. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with other classic car enthusiasts, and I'll see you next time.